So then the question is he not a big game player?
No, I guess.
Cut there, Jamie.
I mean, you.
Pulisic in for Liverpool Rumors.
I have heard that too.
That would be super interesting. And Klopp is actually a manager who understands Pulisic, knows how to play him. So that I like. I still think he ends up in outside of England, but
Crimson Pizza said you could say all the same things about Jordan Henderson. Christian, look, I think Salah is a big game player. I mean, I guess with the evidence that we have, I mean, it's like I'm leaning towards no. But if I had the opportunity to have Salah on my team in a final, I'm putting him on every time.
That's not the point. But at some point, and I think it's exacerbated by the fact that he specifically went out of his way to call out Real Madrid and say, this is what I want. I wanted retribution. I wanted the revenge, yada, yada, yada. And then you just don't even show up.
Yeah, and then did you see the comments from Thierry Henry afterwards? He was just like, he's basically like, yo, bro, I don't even know this dude. I don't even know what he's saying.
I've never seen this man a day in my life.
But he said, he basically said, like, if you're going to talk like that, you have to win the championship.
You have to back it up, and he didn't. So now that leads me to believe, I wonder what the chat thinks, and if you're listening to this, let us know, shoot us a tweet or something. Is Mohamed Salah a big game player? If you have all these chances to prove you're that guy, and you ain't that, and you haven't had any moment where I've been like, in a big moment, in a final, in a chance to win. It happened with AFCON too. Granted, he had a million lasers in his face, but he missed that big penalty. I mean,
it's a pretty big granted, you know. It's not. We should recreate this. We should try to take penalties while someone is pointing lasers in our eyes and see how we can do.
Do you think I could do a penalty without the lasers? What kind of a question is this?
I'm just saying with the amount of pressure, it's just such a moot point.
Can we also get 80,000 Senegalese people freaking out?
I just think I'm assuming that the reason you're asking this question is because of Salah wants a new deal and he wants to get paid like some of the greatest players in the world.
Here's the thing, though.
Currently,
in a competition like the Premier League that doesn't necessarily have a final, I think he warrants that money because he proves on a week-to-week basis throughout an entire season he's a very valuable player to have. He's a little bit up there in age. He's not necessarily the Iron Man that he was before. It's only going to get worse. Asking for more than $200,000 a week or 200,000 pounds a week, which is beyond what the Liverpool ownership wants to pay. And also the fact that guys like Luis Diaz and all these, you can basically find guys that aren't, your top 20 names on everyone's transfer list and plug them right into the system. As long as they fit Klopp's system, they'll be fine. It's not necessarily a club where you have to have a Mohamed Salah. You don't have to have a Sadio Mane in order to win. They've proven that time and time again by continuously finding people that just happen to slot right in. I think Klopp has only made a couple of mistakes. Naby Keita didn't necessarily work out. Maybe Konate didn't work out. Oxlade-Chamberlain is more of a backup anyway. There's only a few opportunities where you look and go, oh, okay. They weren't wildly successful with this transfer. You don't need a guy like Mohamed Salah. And the fact that in the biggest competition, and probably what means the most for them now is Champions League, right? Because that's such a worldwide win. Obviously, winning the domestic league is massive, but
I would disagree. I would say they want to win the league more than Champions League.
Winning the league is super important, and obviously, when you have a chance to do it, you have to go for it like they did this year. But I would say Champions League is, if you had to list the ultimate trophies for them, Champions League is it.
I mean, it's definitely up there, but given that they haven't won, they only won the Premier League once, right? If I'm not mistaken. And if it does...
Oh, that's right. It wasn't the AFCON penalties. It was the World Cup qualifiers that had the lasers. Thank you.
Right, but he did miss his penalty in AFCON as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is what I'm saying. Maybe he's not a big game player. I don't care. Messi and Ronaldo think, LOL. Salah can be a big game player, but he hasn't been lately. I mean... So do you think he's past, or do you think he still has that in his...
It's kind of like, I think of Mohamed Salah as like a higher level of like Heung-min Son, like where they're like similar types of players, but Son is never in any real situation to like win The team is not asking him like, yo, you need to show up today so we can win this title, because he's never really even in that position.
You mean with South Korea?
No, just in general, as a Tottenham player. As a Tottenham player,
and they're never going to win a trophy.
but Mohamed Salah, I think the success of Liverpool is dependent on how well Mohamed Salah plays. Liverpool doesn't get to those finals and they don't get to those trophy opportunities without Mohamed Salah there. So look, has he not played well when they get to the final game? Sure, but
so then the question is he not a big game player?
No, I guess.
Cut there, Jamie.
I mean, you're the one bringing up the point. I didn't bring this up. I don't really have a strong opinion on big game players.
So look, what was it? John Carl Tritt said Liverpool have offered to double Salah's wages, but Salah wants more. And by the way, thanks, nice cold brew. Thanks for hanging out. Knowing what you know now, if you are the owner of Liverpool, right?
I'm LeBron James.
You are LeBron James. You're just dunking, right? Mm-hmm. And then you stop and you ask the question, does Mohamed Salah deserve what he's asking for on a weekly basis?
So I would say yes.
Knowing he's not going to be there for you when you need him the most.
Just sounded adding these like he's gonna leave his family right on your graduation day.
He's gonna turn and walk away when you need him. No, but knowing he's not going to help you win in those finals.
Yeah, you would hope that you would bring in somebody else that can, right? But I would say Mohamed Salah does deserve it. I mean, Liverpool doesn't get to where they are without him. Look, he scores more than did he win the Golden Boot? No, it's not. We got pretty close.
I think he tied.
He tied it. He might have tied it with Son. You have to. He deserves the money because he statistically brings you. His numbers are just wild for a player. I don't know, maybe his age. He's bounced around teams, but he's been in such a. I mean, he is a Ballon d'Or candidate.
Yeah, he was tied with Son, with 23 goals each.
He's incredible. So he deserves the money. It's Liverpool. I think Liverpool can be successful without him. Look, Luis Diaz has to become an absolutely astronomical player if he's going to replace Salah. But I think Salah's biggest strength is that he's that good, and he's a left-footed player.
Yeah, the left-footed it changes a lot.
Yeah,
but also you don't need one player to replace him. You just need the players to score as many goals as he scores. That's right.
Yeah,
and also he did a lot of that without a striker. For most of his time at Liverpool, Firmino's barely a fucking striker.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Well, he doesn't play that much anymore.
Not anymore. But also, Jamal said LeBron owns 1%. That's about the corner flag and nets. He don't own Salah.
I was also being facetious.
Also, he owns 2%. Put some respect on that man's name.
Okay. All right. The main thing you need to understand is that Americans own a lot of English clubs.
Pretty much all of football is owned by...
I have a U.S. passport, so I kind of own Liverpool, too. I don't know.
Bro, it's the United Soccer of America, bro, out there. Also, LeBron James... The news that he's a billionaire drops during the NBA Finals. What a way to say, oh, y'all playing this without me? Let me remind y'all who I am.
Real cute, okay? I feel like buying the NBA, actually.
How about this? How about I shut down the finals, bro?
All right? Yo, cut the lights. I pay for all this.
This is mine. You out. Get the stepping.
Okay? All right? LeBron is watching Martin reruns on his 13-inch black and white TV.
The National LeBron Association. It's the NLA, folks.